So good afternoon, President McPherson. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today to make this presentation. President Yarlott, thank you. And I was here just about a month ago during what's an amazing period when they had, right before the G8, there was a conference organized in this room, which the President came, Secretary of State, the presidents of 3 African countries, 500 or 600 people, international specialists, and of course people were reaching forward and trying to shake the hand and just touch the hem of the garment of Bono of U2, who no, it's a true story. And, you know, there have been other things. There was the Frontiers and Development Conference up at Georgetown. The Washington Post had a day program. This has been an amazing period with focus on food and agriculture, and how appropriate that it comes during this 46-day period when we celebrate the sesquicentennial observance and anniversary of the founding of the Department of Agriculture, the passage of the Homestead Act, and today, the Morrill Act and the land-grant college system. And therefore, in the midst of all that, I felt it was quite appropriate that 2 weeks ago, I was at the State Department with Secretary Clinton and to announce the 2012 World Food Prize Laureate, who is Dr. Daniel Hillel of Israel, the man who developed and helped spread micro-irrigation, which has transformed agricultural production, not only in the Middle East, but around the world. And it seemed quite appropriate to be there during this period of recognition of these 3 sesquicentennial observances. First, because the World Food Prize was founded by Dr. Norman E. Borlaug, to hopefully come to be seen as the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture. And Dr. Borlaug, of course, the man of whom it is said he saved more lives than any other person who's ever lived, has a connection to all 3 of those bills that were passed in 1862. He grew up on a family farm. He was an employee of the U.S. Department of Agriculture in the Forest Service. And of course, and this is hard for me being from Iowa to say, he's a graduate of the University of Minnesota. And yes, that's, yeah. And thank goodness he went there. Because what he saw, I'm in trouble with President Leith, who's here, I know, but he went there and it transformed his view of hunger in the world. But Dr. Borlaug also was on the faculty at Texas A&M for a quarter century. So it seemed right that we'd be making this announcement, his prize, the World Food Prize, during this period. But it's appropriate for another reason as well, because Dr. Hillel, a citizen of Israel, is a graduate of the University of Georgia. So Dean Angle, I'm so pleased you're here today and we're doing this together because we're honoring one of your grads, and he also then got a degree from Rutgers along the way. So, and indeed, half of the World Food Prize laureates, over the first 25 years, we have 36 laureates. Half of them have a connection to a land-grant institution. And I like to sort of refer to them, to Dr. Borlaug as kind of the captain of the team and the laureates as sort of the all-star team of this past 60 years, which I believe is the single greatest period of food production and hunger reduction in human history. And you all should be so proud, that the American land-grant institutions were at the heart and at the epicenter of that achievement. So, yeah, yes. Now, the World Food Prize is about recognizing, but it's also about inspiring. And inspiring the next generation. So 2 days later, after I was at the State Department, I'm over at USDA with Secretary Vilsack as we're welcoming 20 of the brand new Wallace Carver interns. That's right, Henry A. Wallace, land-grant institution, Secretary of Agriculture. George Washington Carver. I just had the great pleasure of meeting President Rochon from Tuskegee Institute. Two of, again, great heroes of your institutions who have done so much. And we have this program we seek at the World Food Prize to inspire high school students. And we bring high school students to the World Food Prize. I've got 21 of them out now around the world as interns. And when they come back, we have a partnership with Secretary Vilsack. I know he's going to be here later this afternoon to send these really bright and able students to be interns at USDA as Wallace Carver interns. Mine's a small organization. We're an NGO. We have 10 employees. Keegan Kautsky, our Director of National Education, is here someplace. So 20% of the World Food Prize is here with you today with the two of us. But we want to work with all of you because Dr. Borlaug's dream was that there could be a youth program in every state around every land-grant institution. So we want to work with you to accomplish this. And we'll be in touch with you, and we particularly want to include the traditionally black institutions and the tribal colleges. If you come to Des Moines, I hope you'll come in October, see us give our $250,000 prize, see the Borlaug Symposium. But I hope you'll go over to our Hall of Laureates building, $30 million Norman Borlaug Hall of Laureates. And when you go in and look around and you'll see things about Dr. Borlaug and Henry Wallace and Dr. Carver. But in one room in the squinches, there are the names of 21 individuals in all of history of food and agriculture that I have chosen to represent great significant achievements. Back to Chanakya in India in 300 BC, to Cato in Rome, to Mendel, to Vavilov. And as I put the names up there, I felt it was appropriate that Morrill's name would be up there to reflect the fact that that achievement and what you do is such a critical part of development of agriculture. And therefore, it's my pleasure and to reflect that great achievement in history to be able to present the Norman Borlaug Medallion, which we created to be given to those organizations or heads of state who have not eligible to receive the World Food Prize, but who have significant achievements. And in the past, it's only been given to the King of Thailand, to the Sasakawa family and foundation in Japan, and to His Excellency Kofi Annan, to commemorate both Dr. Borlaug being a land-grant university graduate, to reflect our continued work together to build his dream in a youth program, but most of all today to recognize the essential role that land-grant institutions have played over the past 150 years in fostering the most prolific agricultural production ever recorded in all history, inspiring multiple generations, and providing a model for other countries to emulate around the world as we endeavor to fulfill Dr. Borlaug's goal of eliminating the scourge of hunger from the face of the earth. Could I invite Dean Angle to come up and so I could make the presentation?
Well, thank you, Ambassador. As the chair of the Policy Board of Directors of the Board on Ag Assembly, it's my honor to accept this award on behalf of the entire land-grant system of the United States. I'm personally thankful to be able to do this, but more so on behalf of everyone sitting in this room associated with land-grant systems. Thank you. We all believe in the spirit of the land-grant system, that being teaching, research, and service. It is true that agricultural's land-grant universities revolutionized agriculture, making farms more productive, protecting our land, and making education accessible to everyone in this great land. The award recognizes land-grant researchers who develop better crop varieties, introduced efficient irrigation practices, enhanced food preservation and safety. It honors our university's educators in the college classrooms and out through each of our states through our cooperative extension programs. Land-grant education helped level the field for so many Americans to give them the opportunity for a higher education, which otherwise might not have been available to them, to better themselves and to better their families. Our university has graduated some of the finest scientists in our country who have built a vibrant agricultural industry and saved, as you just heard, countless lives through many, many years. Norman Borlaug was perhaps the most well-known of these heroes, but certainly not the only one. Many people have gone both before and after him, and while not recognized in the same way that Dr. Borlaug has been, they have made contributions that has made our country, our communities, and our world even better. Thanks to the Morrill Act, the U.S. has a safe, secure supply of food, a well-educated population, it has vibrant centers of innovation and discovery, and hands-on local education provided by cooperative extension. And also, let's not forget our 4-H programs. For more than 100 years, our 4-H programs have trained America's young people to be better leaders and to be more productive citizens. Today, the USDA estimates that there are as many as 50 million living 4-H alumni in this country. The result of all of this is that major improvements have made it possible to feed ourselves, feed the rest of the world, and to export these products to maintain a strong economy of the United States. Traditional and more recent agricultural innovations have literally erupted from the land-grant system. They began in the 1920s, particularly in the Midwestern Corn Belt. A partnership between land-grant universities and USDA scientists bred better corn, better physiological characteristics, more resistant to disease, more resistant to insects, and these are still today considered to be the most important breeding lines of corn anywhere in the world. In fact, they're the parent for nearly half of all the maize that is grown in the temperate regions of this world. And probably as many of you know, corn yields about 100 years ago averaged around 39 bushels per hectare. Today they average closer to 165 bushels per hectare, and in fact there are reports of yields as high as 390 bushels per hectare per year, a tenfold increase from the earlier times of just a century ago. On the West Coast, where the population exploded 100-fold in literally 150 years, our partner universities developed disease-resistant rootstocks for the great populations. Higher yielding crops, better fertilization methods, and irrigation systems produce more food with less input. Through the University of California's breeding program, new strawberry varieties now yield year-round. University of California also developed farming techniques in the 1960s that now enable farmers to also produce oranges year-round. In the Southeast, advances in poultry production helped the industry to become the most robust and efficient component of the Southeastern economy. Another high-quality source of proteins for this part of the world are peanuts. And I'm proud to report that in 1965, a new release of peanuts called Peanut Green, or Georgia Green, which was resistant to the tomato spot wilt virus, is now grown on 90% of all of the peanut land in the southeastern United States. Advances of the land-grant system delivered to agriculture over the 150 years address many of the same problems we will soon face. Fast-growing population, finite land mass, and dwindling water supplies. The difference is that the challenges that once took 100 years to face and to solve will now require only 40 years to assure that we have enough food to feed a population that's expected to double in the next 40 years. So we must continue to improve crop yields and nutritional value, reduce inputs, improve technology, and protect the environment. at this new speed of change. It took better breeding and mechanization to carry agriculture to this point. It'll take even more advanced technologies, those technologies that will be invented by those in this room and our students and our scientists back home to allow us to achieve this significant but very important goal. Those who came before us never wavered from their mission to provide adequate food for the world because they genuinely believed that no child should go hungry in a world that has so much. Successfully solving the complex challenges ahead to meet world food demand is not just an admirable goal, it's a moral imperative. I am confident that each person in this room and each person that makes up the land-grant system is up to this challenge, and I very much look forward to our collective future. So again, on behalf of APLU and the entire land-grant system, we thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and we're collectively humbled by the award that has presented to the land-grant system.